All right, Lions fans, let's continue this talk on the cost of Matthew Stafford. This is going to be part two. The reason why we're going to continue this is because the first part that I left something out that I wanted to discuss, I got lost track of something. But anyway, the Lions, why I guess we were talking about why am I pinning it? Why is my continuous gripe or pinning the win and loss or the success of this franchise on Matthew Stafford is because I started off by saying when they drafted him and how they orchestrated the team wrong upon him, and when they had to make a choice for the extension between him and Sue. And now I want to take that a little step further and why did that, the way that they did it then, how it affects the team now. Now, somebody may say, well, their money situation now has nothing to do with what their progression of going forward. Actually, it does. It does to this degree because you're going to go as and if anybody's doing any business, you're going to go as your foundation goes. And what is your foundation here? It has always been, since they drafted him, has been Matthew Stafford. There has been a foundation. That was the point of me making. Oh, excuse me. That was the point of me making the asking the question: which one do you make as your franchise? The face of your franchise between Sue and Stafford. Stafford is clearly the face of your franchise until he walks away, until they let him go. He's the face of this team. This team goes as he goes. So what I mean by that is you're going to cater around him, his strengths or his weaknesses, whether you're going to cater around that. You're not catering around anything else. So this team can go forward with Jim Schwartz, Jim Caldwell, and Matt Patricia based upon that. Somebody can argue with that, and okay, you probably have a legitimate case. I'll give you that. But here's my case, the reason why I said they couldn't go any further. If you notice, at the time they drafted Matthew Stafford, majority of their assets, have went around Matthew Stafford. Why? Because he's the face. Now, somebody say, how? How so? Okay. Somebody say, well, why did they draft, what's his name? Okuda in the first round. All right. Well, then why did you draft TJ Hawkinson? Okay. Why did they draft this player? And the top, since Bob Quinn been in here, what have been your first round picks that he have drafted? Okay, you got Jared Davis defense, you have Decker offense, you have Ragnar offense, you have TJ Hawkinson offense, and then you go to Okuda defense. Well, according to how he saw his team was on defense, they was like defensive players away versus the offense being away. Now, the offense is pretty much, that's why you went to free agency. You got your right tackle, and Halapalooty Vitae, and so you pretty much was saying like your offense is ready to go. You have your TJ Hawkinson, you may have your Marvin Jones and your Kenny Golladay with the addition of DeAndre Swift and so forth, and you pretty much say your offense is pretty much ready to go. So they started to build up on their defense, but they didn't build their defense with top whatever. So what I mean by that is Jeff Okuda was arguably probably the best at his position, cornerback. So you had to get subpar, they still wasn't able to build off their defense. So you got, they brought in some players that were considered like bench players, and you paid them starter type money to be here. Because I believe that I don't believe anybody wanted to come here. There's one thing I don't believe they want to come here because of Matt Patricia and hold the Patriots way. And there's another thing I don't believe anybody wanted to come here because the team is a losing organization. There's nothing to build off of. There's nothing. 91? 91. That's the best success you had. You got nothing here to build off of. And number three is you're talking about from a place to standpoint from living and from day to day. It's from between the fans, the weather, there's not really much of entertainment per se here. So it's not really a destination that you would like to go to. So when you draft, they have to hit their picks. So you draft Jeff Okuda, and I don't know who they get in the second round. No, that was when they got DeAndre Swift, right? Now, where I think that where they missed it, even though I equate the T.J. Hawkinson pick as the same as the DeAndre Swift pick. They are definite. You can use them as assets to your team, but at the expense for them, I would have preferred they went defense. And since Stafford been here, I won't say the offense has been the problem. And somebody can say, well, then there you go. That's what it is why you keep Stafford. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Stafford is a guy that is like, once again, you put him on a winning organization. You know, they may not, when they draft, say like, for example, for the winning organization, they may not have been winning that year that they drafted him. So like the team went 0-16 that drafted him. So like you have the 49ers, for example. They was 0-16 when he came out and they drafted Stafford. All right. But they have a history of winning. You know, before they went 0-16, they have a history of winning. The Lions have nothing. So it's one thing literally all your ducks have to be in a row to win here with Matthew Stafford, because he's not a guy that you put the team on my back and let's go, because that will require for him to be like the alpha male in the room. That's one thing. The difference between, I would say, is actually a huge distinction between the two, between between Ndamukong Suh and Matthew Stafford. You could put a team on Suh back and he can go. I don't believe you could put a team on Stafford's back and go. It would be good if the team was structured from the organization all the way down. Suh came in at the same time that Stafford was here. So the structure is nowhere near competent as, like I would say, how Bob Quinn and how they did it during that time. So let's not say Bob Quinn, since Martha Ford took over. It's two different ownerships between how Martha Ford did it, and as well as her husband did it, William Clay. I said William Clay. You guys know what I'm talking about. Bill Ford. Now, is it Bill Ford? I don't know who was the previous owner. I can't think of the name. I'm drawing blank. But anyway, they totally did it differently. And so with that being said, all the eggs that they put in the basket with Stafford doesn't get you wins. Now, it's clearly to say the majority of teams that actually won Super Bowls, whatever, have won with a good to dominant defense or a good to dominant run game. There's very few that threw it in the air. Now, somebody could say Kansas City. All right, you could say Kansas City, but I don't know how that works. You know, I don't know. That's like looking at St. Louis Rams, the greatest show on turf type deal. You get a fluke deal. You know, I mean, it works. Don't get me wrong, it can, but it's not. I don't believe it's sustainable. No, we'll see. We'll see. But going back to my point with Stafford, they put all the eggs in him, surrounded by whatever that he needed. I mean, think about majority pieces that they have is offensive related. I mean, quality picks. I mean, quality talent, whatever. It's offensive related. So it's based off of him, but the team doesn't go anywhere with him. And somebody could say, well, that's the head coaching and everything else. But once again, it goes back to the ownership. The ownership, if Matthew Stafford is the face of my franchise, I'm going to make sure he gets the very best. I need a head coach who's going to bring out the very best in him. I need a general manager who's going to bring out the very best in him. I'm not going to allow Matthew Stafford to play in meaningless games. I'm not going to allow Matthew Stafford to play hurt. I'm not going to risk my asset in him because he is he is the face of my franchise. I'm not going to allow him to go out here and to, even though he got cracked ribs, with all these different injuries that his 13, 14, whatever years that he's in the league, and he's banged up, getting sacked 12 times a season and so forth. This is the face of my franchise. They did him wrong. There's no way Stafford can succeed. So that's why I said they have to move on from Stafford. He's culture shocked. I don't believe there's another gear in the Detroit Lions with Matthew Stafford. Somebody could say, well, then if you could say Matthew Stafford could win somewhere else, then he should be able to do it here. Like I think this place has traumatized him. Not that he won't go out there and compete, won't give his all. As a matter of fact, I believe that gets him in trouble. That he tries to prove things. Or maybe that could be just how he's built. That he just, hey, if I can play, I can play. If I'm hurt, I can play. I don't know. I consider that as a liability than an asset. So I say he's better somewhere else than he is here because of the fact that I don't believe there's another gear for him here. Even though there's an argument, somebody can make that, okay, he can do what he can do somewhere else, he could do it here. More like where he will go is to a place that's already established. Not just that year, but they have success of winning. From the top all the way down to where his position is, they pretty much got it in order. Or they have a foundation template. So it's kind of easy for him just to plug and play. That's like any player that leaves Detroit can go to a place. They normally go to a place that's already to that extent that was very well established in that regard. That all they have to do is come in there and do their job. They don't have to do somebody else's job. They don't have to listen to somebody up and upper management figure out how the upper management should do their job to get the people in the position to do their job. And that's why I don't know. That's why I believe that Quinn succeeded at. But anyway, I won't go there. But going back to the point with Stafford, I believe he needs a change of environment to go to a place where they know how to use him. It will already be of readiness. Like if you were to say Denver, you could say Jacksonville, you could say San Francisco, you could say any team that has some success other than going back to what? The last playoff win was in 91. The Browns even got a playoff win. Even if you went to the Browns. Of course, they have Baker Mayfield that probably don't need him. But he could go to the Bears, he can go to any team. Any team. He go to the Bears, they're gonna be successful. He go anywhere that actually has success, he will be successful at. Because he don't have to do anything but just be him. This organization is so out of whack, and that it's finally. I would say this: it's finally the position for a new guy, a new head coach, not a new head coach, but a new quarterback to come in and actually they can hit the ball running. They can hit the ball running. They can hit the ground running. They actually can more so than Stafford. I believe when you talk about a player that needs a change of scenery, Stafford definitely needs a change of scenery. And I think it should be a mutual deal between Stafford and the organization. Well, the organization should look at him like, hey, you didn't pay more you did more to your services here. You should be able to go ahead. As well as Matthew Stafford should be saying like, well, I should be able to see greener pastures. But that could be just out of what kind of a guy that he is that, hey, I like it here. And even if I don't win, I want to retire here as a Lion. I mean, that is commendable if that's the case. Even if that's the case, you shouldn't be out there playing meaningless games when you're already banged up and hurt. Shouldn't be doing it. If you care about this franchise that much, better yet, if you care about yourself that much, then you won't consider yourself a liability going forward. Now they're talking about Stafford going to another offseason rehab, and they're going to talk about he's 100%, if he's this is this, and all this different thing. And then the person could say, like, well, they could draft a quarterback. They don't have to draft a quarterback if you still got 2 years up under Stafford. Well, you can groom them. You don't necessarily have to, that whole philosophy that you sit a quarterback up under somebody, it actually works. That's not necessarily the case because you got situations where it doesn't work that way. But then, that's considered like a formula, but it's not necessarily a guaranteed formula. They actually have some. They actually have something established already. You got a tight end and you got a running game. They already got something established with them, regardless if they sign Kenny Galladay or not. They have something established already. All they need to do is give Stafford a defense and take the ball out of Stafford's hand. That's if they choose to keep him. But the reason why I go back to this, why I say it's time to basically clean the slate with Stafford, because of the fact that there's no ceiling for him. There's nothing else here. So somebody say you go get a rookie to bring him in. Well, this team is actually more ready to succeed with a rookie than a person would say like, well, a rookie will come here and fail. No. If you're talking about the rookie coming to the Lions organization, when Stafford came here, then of course they have failed. But you look at this organization now, is actually what Quinn did. They moved it past the mediocrity of 9-7. Somebody said, no, the record was this. They didn't even get 500. It's not about the record. It's about the foundation is set. When Quinn got here, what was the foundation before he got here? What was the foundation? 9-7. I'm not talking about 9-7 with Jim Caldwell or 9-7 with just think about it. They would hit one year, then they off. Hit one year, they're 8-8, not 8-8. They're talking about from Barry Sanders all the way up. All the way up from Barry Sanders to Bob Quinn. What I'm saying is, now if anybody comes here now, he did them so much of a job that the owner could just hire a guy and they don't have to do anything. Really too much. They don't have to clean house and nothing like that. From upper management all the way down, they don't. They just add pieces. Add pieces. So all they got to do is add a few pieces and this team is ready to go. It's ready to go. Quinn and Patricia did all the heavy lifting. They did all the heavy lifting for the next regime to come in and they could build off of it. Now, if they come tearing it down, they in other words, they gave a standard. They gave a standard here which was the hardest part of the job. That, remember, from Barry Sanders all the way up, it was either 8-8 or 9-7. That was the standard. As long as they get people in the seats, they're good. If they win 8-8 or if they win 9-7, that's good. What Quinn did, actually, what he did is actually change the narrative of that. Now, anybody comes here now from the ownership now, they're saying 9-7 is not good enough. They wasn't saying that before Quinn got here. That's why I said that Quinn is arguably the best general manager they had probably since their championship days. Arguably. Because he changed the complexion of the team. The owner can go in now saying they have something to build off of. They didn't have anything to build off of prior to Bob Quinn getting here. There was no structure. So with that being said, every player that he brought in here, the Jamie Collins, the Trey Flowers, the Halapoulivaati Vites, the Jeff Okudas, all the players that people, even Jelani Tavai, all the players that people have a question about. You get the next coach in here and add a few pieces here and watch how those talents benefit off of that. They did the hard part. Quinn and Patricia did the hard part. They restructured it. They did their job. Sometimes, in most cases, when you're doing a rebuild, a culture rebuild, it's not about wins and losses as much as can you establish a foundation to build off of. The Lions never had one. When Barry Sanders was winning, they never had a foundation. What was their foundation? What was their foundation? Come on. They didn't have one. So, with that being said, why I'm saying wiping my hands with Stafford is for this reason, is because that they actually can go draft a quarterback, a rookie quarterback, and he could be, you hear the story about the other team. They're actually in position for a rookie quarterback to come in to be successful because they got all the other pieces in place. They got a running game here. I mean, he don't have to sit. He can actually come in from day one and play. Stafford does not have to be here. This team is ready. It's not like he's coming to a franchise that's nothing is in order. Things is in order. All they have to do is one thing. If they want to help out the rookie, if they do go to that direction, go with a matter of fact. You know what? Let me just say it this way: their number one pick should be a quarterback. The number one pick should be a quarterback, even if they had to go up in the draft to go get their quarterback. So like if it's Trevor Lawrence, whatever the case may be. It depends on who you're talking to. Like if it's who got the number one pick, Jacksonville, I imagine they're not coming out of that pick. So if you had 7, and I don't know who the quarterbacks are. Is it Lawrence, Trey Lance, Fields? I don't know who other quarterbacks was there. And that's like the top 2 were 2 of the top 4 quarterbacks are still on the board, and you got the 7th pick, and you're looking at the number 2 pick, number 3, whatever. You're trying to move up to go get that player. You go get it. You move up to go get them. Somebody said, "What about your defense?" But that's what I have my free agency for. What about your offensive line? That's what I have my free agency for. So I'm letting go of Stafford, and I'm bringing in a rookie. I'm letting go of Stafford, and I'm bringing in a rookie. I'm drafting a rookie, and I'm going to groom him from this point on. I don't need to do anything else with Stafford anymore. Somebody said, "Well, you need to have a guy why don't you get a rookie and let him sit up under Stafford?" No, that's a waste of time. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. The people say you can learn. I like, you don't have. No. I look at it like this. Somebody said, "Well, some actual teams some quarterbacks can actually benefit from sitting behind for others, and some people don't." I look at Tom Brady, for example. Tom Brady was 6 overall, and he was sitting up under Drew Bledsoe, right? And Drew Bledsoe, I know the story. He got hurt. They threw him in the fire. They went behind him. What did they do? What was this is the key. The coach. The coach was so well-rounded with information. He just didn't get it when he came to New England Patriots. He had it when he was at Cleveland. He had it when he was with the New York Giants. He had it when he was different other organizations, when he was made part of the scouting team for the Detroit Lions. Bill Belichick was so whirled around with a plethora of information, of knowledge about the game. He knew every position, everything. He knew all about it. So he's well-rounded to put a young guy like Tom Brady in a good position. And they did it. I don't know if I'm wrong or not, but I believe Bill Belichick was there. And if Bill Belichick was there before, if Bill Belichick was there before, not Bill Belichick, Bill Parcells, forgive me. If Bill Parcells was there before he was there, he did what I'm talking about with what Bob Quinn did for this organization is what I believe what Bill Parcells did for that organization. And so the next regime could come in and build off what was already established. Bob Quinn gave this organization championship standards from the organization. Now, he gave it standards that this organization never had. If that was the job that they paid him to do, then so be it, he did it. Now, all they have to do is build off that by getting the right quarterback, right coach, general manager, coach tandem, and then you draft a quarterback. And you put that quarterback in the right position to succeed. This team is ready to go. Even with a rookie quarterback, it's ready to go. You arguably looking at maybe to complete this team right where it's at. You're talking about a good guy, a good quarterback, not a good quarterback, a good general manager, and a good head coach that you can get behind and follow. Not a guy that's that really don't know what he's doing or really don't want to be here, and a general manager, or you got a guy who thinks he knows everything, or whatever case may be, or doesn't know enough, doesn't have enough experience to know how to get past the second gear, and a head coach. You need somebody with, I don't want to say experience. It's a mixture of both. You need somebody with experience as well as motivation and so forth, and as well as inexperience. Sometimes too much experience can actually hamper you because you get stuck in your own way, your own arrogance, as well as not having enough, and it can get in your own way because you don't have another gear. So I'm scratching I say all I have to say, Stafford is too costly because of that reason. Is that he sort of you kind of put everybody's hands tied, kind of put their hands to be tied. And I would say let him go. Let him go. And I'm not saying because he's a bad person or he's just no good here. And he from two fronts, from another organization, whether it's for Stafford, from this organization and whether for Stafford, he deserved to go somewhere else. He paid his dues here. He don't need to be here anymore. You don't need a rookie quarterback doesn't need a Stafford to develop here. I mean, to be successful out the gate. This team is ready to go. I say it this way. They have a run game, and they have pretty much all offensive weapons. It depends on what they're going to do with Kenny Golladay. If they sign Kenny Golladay, that would be the best thing they can have with a rookie quarterback. All right? But that was not, no. Scratch that. The run game is the best thing for a rookie quarterback. Get your offensive guard, and let's go. And you draft your receiver, so you get one in the free agency, whatever, but if you let him go to Stafford, and even if it's a cap hit, you're not letting him go for nothing because you're trading him. Whatever. You're getting some pieces back, and you can move on from Stafford. You really can. It's almost equivalent to the Grant Hill deal with the Pistons. Did I want to see Grant Hill leave? Heck no. Because he was since Isaiah Thomas, he was what? Once in a lifetime deal. I mean, they just couldn't do any. They couldn't build anymore with him. They couldn't go any further. So they did a sign and trade, and they got Ben Wallace and Chucky Atkins, and the rest is history. But that's what I'm saying. With Matthew Stafford, probably can get you that same deal. It may be talent that you don't even know that is unknown, but it could be part of the coach was here to be complementary pieces to what's established already to get them over the hump. So that's my piece with my hands are washed with Stafford. I'm not saying get rid of Stafford. Let me close it with this. I'm not saying get rid of Stafford because I dislike Stafford. I'm saying his time here is done. And you don't need him to be here to groom another quarterback. Somebody said, what about Chase Daniels and everything else? Chase Daniels is there for 1 or 2 games. What I will use Stafford for here is what I will use Chase Daniels for. I'm not just going into the season anticipating to win. I'm not going there to lose either. I understand the fans want to win automatically, but it's just, even with a healthy Stafford, it's not going to work that way. Somebody said we get the right head coach, but if you're saying that, I could say that's equivalent to having a rookie guy. Well, the rookie guy don't know as much as Stafford. With all that Stafford knows, he still do the same mistakes that he makes as a rookie. So I can groom a guy that has no experience versus a guy who has a plethora of experience that is going to be hard for him to break those strongholds that he have on from being his time here in Detroit. He need to go to a different environment that actually could bring out the very best in him. With that being said, Lions fans, this is part 2. I salute.